The grandstand is doing a better job in the embankment, and there's less people. Come on, embankment, make some more noise. All right, well, we'll come back to that a little bit later on, but if you hear that chant, counties, sing along with it to show your team your supporting them with this Ranfurly Shield game this afternoon. Go the Sealers. Right, sideline now, and I'm joined by two legends of the game. The Ranfurly Shield, that's one of them, right in front of us, and also County's favourite son, Alan Dawson. Now, Alan, you played in the era of 7 Shield challenges, spanning from 75 to 89. 4 of the most controversial challenges of that era were in 1979 against Auckland, 1981 against Waikato, 1982 against Canterbury, and 1985 against Auckland. In 79, Counties won what was called the NPC back then. You played for the Shield in front of what was still the reigning record crowd in an NPC match of 50,000 people. Any memories from that day?
Oh, I'd like to say great memories, but we went away with the NPC and not the Shield. I remember that day was Tim Freeman tackling our great Bruce Robinson and the All Black great, and Tim became an All Black through that tackle. I think I might have mucked up towards the end of that game by not catching a high ball, not kicking the ball out. I wanted to try and score an 80-metre try for Counties, but coming penalty. But a great game, and if I remember about Eden Park that day, there were more County supporters than Auckland people.
Yeah, fair enough. So in 1981's game against Waikato ended with a 21-all draw after Counties considered 2 late controversial penalties. What about that game too?
If I'm allowed to talk the truth here, and I'll do my best, a very good friend of mine, John Bowe, and a great man, he had the ability that day to pretend he got knocked over and say, hey ref, and he actually earned 2 penalties, and they were both kicked for us to draw the game. If you have a look at the TV coverage of that game, you'll actually see John Bowe winking to the camera.
A bit of a sneaky one there, eh? Also in 1982, playing not only for the Lager Wood, you were playing for the NPC title as well. Counties were ahead 15-12 with minutes to go. What happened after that?
Excuses. Started off with Alex Wiley giving the 3rd Division ref a goal watch before kickoff. At the same time, we hit this ruck. Canterbury were attacking. They put it through the backs. Bruce Robinson made the big tackle. Robert Kurangi picked up the ball and was gone to score into the sticks. The referee decided that he liked the goal watch, and he pulled it back to a penalty in the wall where Robbie Deans kicked it.
Robbie Deans, who's that guy?
He also won another challenge down there. We outscored Canterbury, and he kicked 6 penalties to take another one off as well.
The 3rd Lager Wood agony came 3 years later in 1985 when Counties were down 12-3. They were denied what appeared to be a perfectly legitimate try to Dave Trombett, but an extremely persuasive Auckland captain, the final score of that game after Warren McLean's was was 12-9. What, are you good friends with Warren?
Yeah, Bushy and I were good mates, and that was a game where Andy Hayden was close to retiring and decided to take up for the referee. Tromby scored from a maul, the clean dive over the paddock, and referee was on the other side. By the time the referee decided to come around the other side, Auckland boys had jumped on top of Tromby, and Andy Hayden said, "Hey ref, it was short and held up," but the referee said, "Oh, that's good enough for me, Mr. Hayden." The team is humble, that's why they'll be successful.
Thank you very much for joining us today. All right,
Went to the white lady. Woke up with it would have been after 4. What time did you come up? How good's this? Shield fever.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Got you loud and clear, my man. Have a good one. And I can hear you too, lovely lady. Thank you.
Is that Henry Maxwell? He's wrangling it. What's that?
Lollies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard so. He was there last night too. Yeah. No one turned up. I mean, you know, they thought they were going to try and latch on to the, you know, the Manukau part of but the old fan base just deserted this. You know, well, there's no way to park a tractor.
The 2013 ITM Cup is proudly brought to you by the Tui Brewery.
It was in 1902 that the Ranfurly Shield was presented as a new trophy in New Zealand rugby. It was handed to the Auckland Rugby Union. 111 years later, it finally takes up residence just 53 kilometres down the road in Pukekohe. History made today at Ecolite Stadium as the county's Manukau Steelers defend the Shield for the first time after taking it from Hawke's Bay a week ago, up against a team with real Shield pedigree in Taranaki. Justin Marshall, what a great sight we have before us here.
Yes, good afternoon, Tony, and welcome in everybody. Superb Ranfurly Shield rugby, Pukekohe. What a pleasure it was to walk into this stadium for this encounter this afternoon.
Ian Jones, sideline right amongst it. What a buzz.
Yeah, thanks very much, Tony. Extra special buzz here, as you'd expect, sideline here at Pukekohe. Something both these teams are going to have to deal with and use to their advantage. We saw quickly the graphic of the conditions. They are perfect.
Well, the Taranaki team been a bit hit and miss this year. Coach Colin Cooper sticking largely to the side that had a good win over Hawke's Bay on Wednesday. Means two of their Super Rugby players, Jamison Gibson Park and James Broadhurst, are on the bench. And here they come. They make that long walk down the concrete pathway here out onto the field. They've brought quite a few supporters with them, have Taranaki, led by Kane Barrett. He's already been a Shield holder in his young career, emulating the achievement of his father in the 1990s. Taranaki will look for a bit of the old-fashioned from their forward pack, but they do have the backs to threaten as well. They have history in the Shield, Taranaki. They've held it 5 times. And it's on days like this that they look to their senior men, Justin, to get the work done up front.
Yeah, they certainly do. And Jared Hoyata, the man in the tight five that really needs to lead this forward assault on the county's Manukau, Pat. He will be absolutely vital to their chances today. He needs to step up, and I'm sure he can.
60th ITM Cup match. Of course, the ITM Cup points are going to be very valuable as well, but not too many people talking about them today. What a week it's been in the proud history of the counties union. Bit of a side issue with their coach Tana Umanga hauled before the New Zealand Rugby Union, but it's mind on the job time now after a few days showing the shield about. Not too many changes there to that side either, as Tana Umanga looks to hang on to the shield now. Different mindset. And here they come, and will await the reception that they get from what is surely the biggest crowd they've had here in over 10 years. Real throwback to the 1970s and 80s when this was one of the most innovative unions in the country. They played a special brand of rugby. They still do. The Steelers. Only once before has the shield ever been here, and that was when Auckland took it on tour. Some magic in this back line, and this is one of the guys responsible for that shield being here.
Oh, certainly is. Sherwin Stowers was absolutely fantastic in lifting the shield from Hawke's Bay, and he'll be vital today in what Counties Manukau can do, particularly in the back line. I think where their strength lies.
Before the match starts, though, we'll pause for a moment's silence for Larry Bell, a life member of the Counties Rugby Union, a man who worked tirelessly for this union. So the crowd will rise to their feet. You can see conditions. Nice sunny day here, but for a moment it's about reflection for a great servant of this union who passed away recently. Larry Bell, he would have been very proud of the sight that we're seeing here this afternoon with the embankment on the far side, which has been fairly sparsely populated in recent times. Well, it's pretty packed here today. Here's our referee, Nick Bryant of Bay of Plenty. And it's going to be the challenger, Taranaki, to kick off. Well, Counties Manukau, their history began back in 1955. And now for the first time, they defend the Ranfurly Shield, the famous Loggerwood. And it's one of their hard workers, Adam Cathcart, who has first touch of the ball. Augustine Pulu at halfback with a probing kick down towards the 22. And Kurt Baker is back to put it into touch, but doesn't do so. Taranaki man in front here, so it's an advantage to Counties, and off goes Sherwin Stowers for the first time today. Pulu again with the kick, and I think the referee just jogging back towards the middle of the park, and here's an early opportunity.
In front and advancing.
Just looking at that breeze, Ian Jones, it is going to be a factor here today.
two issues here this afternoon, and Counties are in their favour for the first 40 minutes. They have the breeze, southwesterly here at this ground, so that's blowing left to right. And Taranaki also has to deal with the setting sun. They'll be looking to that. So Pulu there on 2 occasions, making the most of it, Marshy.
Certainly did. A good start from Counties as well. And that's what they need to be like. That's the recipe for good shield holders in the past. You've got to go out and not defend the shield, you've got to win it. Every week you've got to win it over and over again. And teams with that type of attitude, not a defeatist one where they're trying just to hold on to it, to go out and try and win it each week, are usually quite successful and can hold on to it for a long time. They just got to get that recipe right, and it looks like they've started in a nice positive way, and they're keen to attack as well, which is what you've got to do.
Well, Baden Kerr is the man who'll have the shot at goal. He's been very good so far this year. Just 2 misses in 17 attempts. Season at the Blues behind him, and an opportunity to put the shield holders in front. Real hush over the crowd, and in he comes, but it is away to the left. Well, we walked in, Ian Jones and I, with one of the great figures of Counties Manukau rugby today, Joely Vanderi. It's great to see so many of their greats here today. Here's a charge down by Hika Elliott, and some pressure on Taranaki, but they have it. And Chris Smiley just has a look around and opts to kick himself. He's put it high, out towards the touchline, over the touchline on the full. So early pressure on Taranaki.
Yeah, you can see the effect of the win there. Ian Jones mentioned it. They are playing into the breeze there, and Smiley didn't quite get it right. An attacking opportunity for Counties after missing that penalty chance. They've gone for a full line out by the looks.
So Hika Elliott throws to the line out, and it's won by Jimmy Tupou and Bundyaki. A real threat in their midfield. So onto the attack go the Steelers. Pulu swings it away to Kerr. Wide pass picked up on the bounce by Frank Hullite. And look how hard he is to stop. Taken on by the forwards. This is Vaipulu, the open side flanker. And now Jared Firth. Threatening start by Counties. They drive to the line. It's Hika Elliott. Can you believe it? Hika Elliott scores, and Counties Manukau are in front.
Great search. Excellent line out launch from there. They stayed nice and patient. They thought Hullo was going to go over, and then again it went on to Vaipulo, who looked like he could reach out. Instead they stayed patient, and then it was Hika Elliott that went around the side of the ruck with some momentum. Fritz Lee in behind him that barged his way over. This is the end of it. You can see there Vaipulo, it looks like he could have reached out. He stays nice and calm. From there they get themselves set. In they go again, have another surge through Firth, and then finally Hika Elliott, and watch Fritz Lee and co get in behind him and shunt him over Kamo.
Taranaki defending with 14 men for that whole movement. Justin, Andre Taylor, the 13 for Taranaki down. May have made a little bit of a difference, but I tell you the excitement about this Hika Elliott and the Counties forward pack. Doing a lot of talking, a lot of smiling, a lot of bats slapping, and they're just enjoying this moment.
Well, I said, can you believe it? Because Hika Elliott, of course, is here at Counties because he wasn't wanted by Hawke's Bay. Took the shield off them last week, scores the try today, and just for good measure, Baden Kerr converts from wide out, and it's 7-0. So early setback for the challengers, Taranaki, who this time last year were the holders, and Cathcart is the man from the kickoff again. There's some real power in this forward pack. And Kerr, a low skidding kick to Manivalu, trapping it, and then Baker. Pass out in front of Jackson Orman, and he runs into some solid defence. But it's there for the Naki. Smiley. Crosswell moves it on. Carried on by Carl Carmichael. Now Brooks. Hoyata moving it on. And Pelesa Uma with the pass away. Doug Titchen's playing in 7. Taranaki through. Reece Marshall now get to the 10-metre mark, but the ball's being ripped away by Ronald Ramakers. Now the kick ahead and the chase. Real pressure on Ormond at the back, but he's done well. Skips past the first two. And then the supporters there in the form of Andre Taylor. And now breaking out is Barrett. Blade Thompson, in fact, just up to the 10-metre mark. Now back it goes to Brooks. Brooks again, a little double pump, and the pass away to Kurt Baker. But ripping it away, Counties, and Hicka Elliott has it. Big floated pass away. And just a slight misjudgment there from Andre Taylor. Now he has to head out over the sideline. Well, thrust and counter thrust early in the Shield Challenge.
Oh, great stuff from both teams. Think back to Orman, who got himself out of trouble deep in the 22 from there. This is how Taranaki built their attack. But the turnover happened. It was Pulu that got in, ripped the ball free. And from there, when Lilo put the kick through, everybody sort of held their breath and thought, oh, maybe a wasted opportunity. But it turned out that it kept veering its way towards the touchline, and they've managed to get Andre Taylor to take it over. So another great chance for them, Camo. Maybe a line-out drive?
Well, I hope so, Marshy. Then we can talk it up big time, my friend. But where Counties let themselves down this year in their losses to date is their intensity at the breakdown. They didn't want that to happen here in their home ground in their very first Shield Challenge. That hasn't happened. Also interesting, Marshy, with Augustine Pulu, his mindset kicking on 3 occasions.
Yeah, he's looking like he wants to play territory and try and pin Taranaki back.
Oh, just waiting. Titchens, who has to do his boot up. And Elliott throws. Their line-out's been pretty good, operating at about 80% efficiency. And nice quick ball from Tupou, and Kerr runs, tries to pop it into a hole for Bundyaki. It's been knocked on by Taranaki. And so Counties have it. Pulu gets it away to Ray Lilo, running strongly. Off it goes to Vai Pulu. Jimmy Tupou! Second try for the Steelers.
Oh, they're feeling the passion. Look at them. Hoyata's in there, not surprising. But Tupou, he's the man on the end of the chain. The set move from the line-out didn't work that well, but the Taranaki players got themselves in the way, which made the ball rebound back to Pulu, and it was the work that he did. There was nothing on. He pretty much just sidesteps a couple of ways toward, watch him here. So he goes, oh no, I'll go back this way. The injection from Lilo, beautiful on pass, and then Jimmy Tupou finishes off the big dive in the corner. Oh, Counties are striking and striking with good effect, Camo.
Marshy, from nothing to something. A team like this can hurt you, can't they? And the ability to back up, and when one guy makes a break getting over the gain line, the excitement of the support players to get there, get on the shoulder, and they're Tupou, isn't it? We wanted to see a line-out drive. I was going to let you talk that through, but a lock got there in the end anyhow.
Well, it was Jimmy Tupou, the man who was part of the Crusaders squad. He was the man who won that nice quick ball off the top at the line-out. They're just playing with pace, with great thrust. And they've rocked Taranaki back on their heels. And Kerr just hooked it past the left-hand upright. But it's 12-0 after 9 minutes. Well, they've waited a long time for it, but right now they're loving it. Haymakers taking it down.
Going back, go. Who's it?
And Pulu kicks. He is such a key man, Augustine Pulu, coming off a good season with the Chiefs. And now here's Seta Tamanivalu, confronted by Frank Harley. Oh, Carmichael putting his head down, but unprotected ball, and Bundy Arke's helped himself, and the Steelers have got it again. Pulu slipping the kick through, and once again Taranaki have to beat the retreat, and there's nowhere for Ormond to go.
Well, it came from the turnover again at the breakdown, and they've thrown the ball away. Nick Bryant has said that you are unable to do that, which is true, because there was 1,000 Counties players there looking to sniff after the ball, and he threw it away over those hoardings there. You can see in the background, and that's a penalty offence. But you can see Pulu in shot. He's just playing the game at the right tempo at the moment, getting them in behind, but it's the chasing work as well, which is excellent.
And numbers for the breakdown, Marsh, and not numbers 1 through to 8. It's 1 to 15. So whoever is on spot, and they're going wide Taranaki, which means the outside backs and Counties getting involved in the mix. They're making the turnovers. Really good example of it coming up here.
Yes, it was Bundy Arke who rather hobbled away from that. All sorts of pressure on Ormond, and he lobbed it over the hoardings, and they were pretty quick to bring Nick Bryant's attention to that.
Fair to say too, Tony, the breeze is having no effect on these kicks of Baden Kerr. No expert, but he just hasn't struck the two that he's missed well at all.
Well, it's a natural basin here, the stadium in Pukekohe. The wind does tend to swirl around a little bit. But here's Baden Kerr. Three more. It's 15-0. Great start by the Steelers. How about that for a crowd? That's the magic of the Ranfurly Shield.
Fantastic. Embankment as well, on the grass, everyone. Beautiful day.
The kick is deep. And again, it's Pulu racing forward to field. This is Kurt Baker. Can he spark something? Well, they've got their work cut out here, Taranaki. Brooks has a little dab. Young player from the Southern Club, and a promising player too, Thompson. Taranaki have hardly spent any time in Counties territory, in danger of being held up here. And Jared Hoyata flying in the side of the ruck. Well,
Nothing major. No, it's a more, mate. Or whistle goes, you stay out of it.
Now he got away with that one. Probably feels it's worth a try.
He's beginning frustrated because they're just not making enough inroads here, and you can see that they do very well, Counties, to tie this ball up. Cathcart is instrumental, and Hoyata, you'll just see, comes in from the side here, smack. And that's just frustration, that is, because they can't get anything going, Taranaki.
Well, Jared Firth has been a good addition to the Steelers pack this year. The man you see packing down on the tight head side.
Okay, stand up, boys. You can be a lot straighter, and I reckon you can be a bit straighter too. Okay? I'm seeing an angle, so let's get straight. Yeah?
Here's Firth.
Probably a fraction closer too, please.
Simon Lamalu on the other side there with the beard. He's played over 70 games for Counties, and Hicka Elliott in the middle. It's not a bad front row.
Yeah, that was good.
Cocker, Carmichael and Marshall for Taranaki.
Crouch! Bind! Sit! Still got to wait for my call. Yeah, and I'm waiting till it's still. Sorry, what was that?
Tony, I think one of the issues we're having in the scrum time, we saw a lot last night. We're going to get a good view here of Carmichael, the loose head prop for Taranaki. When they're doing the hit, his legs are very straight. And because of that, naturally your hips are pointing towards the ground. I think these guys just taking some time, close out, adjusting their feet. And at times I feel that they should move their feet up a little bit, which keeps their hips and shoulders up.
Crouch.
Let's have a look.
Bind. Sit. No, we reset that.
Oh, we're going to have another go.
Very good example of it there, actually. Immediately, as soon as his legs straightened out, that's what we're looking at. The shoulders went straight into the ground. And clearly he's got to work hard, chase his feet, get them up a little bit.
Well,
and he'll have the strength to hold it up.
Just moving them, Carmo, just signs that the turf just shifting a little bit. Nice thick sole of grass here, but there's been plenty of rain on it in the last week.
Crouch. Bind. Sit. It's not.
Squirting out the back, awkward for Pulu. And Fritz Lee in there to help him, but Taranaki just blown straight over the top of this. So here's a chance now for the challengers. But straight away, Ope Pelese Uma puts it down. And we'll have another scrum.
Well, if I said they were getting frustrated, I should say before, that will only be more to fruition now. They had the opportunity, a great turnover. Watch the forwards here just blast past the ball. Turned it over just through good ruck work. And out it goes. And Pelese Uma drops the ball right at the vital time.
Well, they've been waiting so long to get it from that scrum.
Stand in the middle, put it in straight.
Interesting clash at hooker. Hicka Elliott, who doesn't seem to be on the radar for the All Blacks anymore, along with a young man for Taranaki who's very much on the radar, Reece Marshall. And finally, Nick Bryant's had enough.
Pushing off the mark. Gold.
Tony, you mentioned crowd numbers and what a wonderful buzz it is. 12,000 people packed in to Pukekohe, the Echo Light Stadium this afternoon. And that has just gone too far, Marshy.
Well, it's very nice to be here. As I say, Carmo, you and I walked in, and as we walked in, he was Joel Evanderi coming in at the same time. There's the coach. And also nice to come into the commentary box, a bag of potatoes for us too, sort of the local product. Very pleased about that.
They're already in the bag, Tony. I was making sure you didn't take my bag with you as well.
Well, you've eaten all the lollies.
Yes.
But the baby red jacket potatoes, I'll go good with the lamb leg tonight, I can promise you. And Sherwin Stowers, well, ran straight into the defence, and the ball's been scooped up, and it's Reece Marshall. Great run from the hooker. Maybe now Taranaki get an opportunity. Just a little disorganised, but Hoyata has it now and comes steaming forward. Smiley wheels around. Titchens moves it on to Manivalu. I'll try and put him over the touchline. Just don't look settled and organised, that back line, Justin.
Good point. What it looks like is they've got no purpose about what they want to do. There's nobody running into the ball. So when they're receiving passes, this is the turnover. When they're receiving passes, they're static. You know, you want to be running onto the ball, hitting it at pace, running for the holes. At the moment, they're just getting it and then trying to get leg speed, and it's not working.
Can't he squeeze up the line out, but again, more excellent work from Jimmy Tupou. Leaping up to palm it down. Frank Halai, well, needs to get rid of that. And well, good purchase on it.
Number 7.
And now it's the oncoming Steelers players who've been pinged for getting up ahead of the kicker. Let's see what they can make of it. Smiley, Brooks calling a runner on the inside. Crosswell up towards the 22. Now Titchens, but flying at him was Adam Cathcart. And again, looking rather congested in their back play. Hoyata. Now Smiley moves it on to Brooks. Better shape now. Thompson. Smiley whips the pass away to Brooks. Pelesa Uma held on to that one, and now Andre Taylor. He was looking just a bit out of sorts earlier on in the game. Picked up a knock. Marshall. Smiley looks for someone to pop up for a run, and in the end it's Titchens. Now Brooks, the cutout pass, trying to weave his way through is Baker. Carmichael has a go.
Red rule! Come back, Red.
So that's the end of the penalty advantage, and they've got another one. To Manivalu, nowhere through there, and so finally the penalty comes. This time the tackler not rolling away.
Well, they went nowhere. They've ended up pretty much where they started that period of attack. So the Counties' defence is very good. It's coming forward, and they're not finding any gaps to be able to penetrate through at the moment, Taranaki. So they'll be thankful for this penalty. They're first, and I think they should take the opportunity to get some points on the board, to be honest. What do you think, Carmo?
Well, I think they're going to go for the line-out drive, to be fair. Kane Barrett, skipper of the team, locked forward. Main grandstand, Marshy, perfect place for the skipper to call himself.
They are playing into a breeze, though, aren't they? So.
Oh no, distance wouldn't have been a problem. The breeze isn't that strong, but I just think Taranaki want to sort of feel that they're part of this game, part of what they can do, and now you might be able to talk us through a line-out drive.
Can't wait. Very excited. I'm actually out of my chair.
Excellent.
So Marshall has the throw. Hoyata loses it, but it's a penalty. Pulling him down.
On his arm.
And
over his arm.
Certainly came down hard. I suppose you've got to have another go now.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Otherwise it contradicts the first decision, doesn't it? So they will do that, and they'll get closer.
Turn again, Simon.
Raymaker's hook his arm around.
Go to the same jumper, Carmo?
Yeah, he absolutely would.
Hang on.
He's the man in
You show me your
the middle,
space.
but they actually
Come up,
want to
Cole.
shift a little bit. Actually, so watch Hoata get the ball
Yeah,
if
we need to
that's
meet
the
us
target, then move it to the outside, trying to attack the 15-metre channel.
Not straight, Thatcher! Not straight!
Well, you heard it, not straight. And referee Nick Bryant agrees. And Taranaki just continuing to struggle to get things going.
Well, that hurts, doesn't it? And my point being that I think probably taking the points, you stay in touch, and in the second half, not so much kicking into the breeze for the points, but in the second half, you're obviously going to be able to play territory a lot better. But if you start losing the scoreboard and don't get any points of your own while you're playing into the elements, it makes it doubly hard when you come out with the elements to try and play catch-up, particularly in a Shield game, because the resilience is going to be there for the holders.
Yes, no.
Well, can they put some pressure on the county scrum? No, they can't. Lee off the back to Pulu. Had to reach behind him. Probably didn't get the kick where he wanted it. And now Baker brings it back for Taranaki. Smiley whips it away. Pelesa Uma. Quick hands and driven back is Carl Carmichael. Oh, good pressure on defence from Counties. And Taranaki, after a good 4 or 5 minutes down this end of the field, will leave empty-handed. Long kick from Kerr, that's a beauty. So the Steelers swing back onto the attack.
Short line out too, Justin, so still no line out drive off the top.
Maybe look for a run in midfield from Fritz Lee, the skipper. Overthrown though, and pops up for Smiley. Not a good pass though, and Pelesa Uma has to go back and retrieve the situation.
Release Reds! Back.
And they get it back to Brooks for the clearance. Opportunity here for a quick throw, and Counties, of course, they took it. Stowers fires it back on the left to Pulu. And now Elliott steaming down the touchline, smashes through the tackle of Ormond. And there it is for Taranaki to go back on the defensive again as Fritz Lee charges forward for the Steelers. Pulu. Lamalu gets rid of it. Stowers stays up in the line. Pulu. Away to Kerr, to Hullai, Frank Hullai. Tackle made by Kurt Baker. And they're right out in front of the posts. Pulu switches direction. Nice hands from the flanker by Pulu. And now Frank Hullai picks it up and they're up for their third.
What a great build-up again from Counties. The crowd are all on their feet. They appreciate the patience and the skill level of Counties getting that ball eventually across the line. If you remember, it all started from a quick line-out throw. It was a nice clearance from Taranaki. However, Counties Manukau are intent on running the ball at Taranaki and stressing them defensively. This is the break. Hicka Elliott gets it on the charge. Hicka Elliott on Ormond, no chance whatsoever. In fact, it was Brooks. Boom, far down he went. From there, they managed to get it across to this side. Frank Hullai is hard enough to stop anyway, Camo, let alone that close to the try line.
Hicka outstanding. I tell you, the crowd here think he's born and bred Waiuku man now, even though it's his first season with the Counties. Vaipulu, the open side flank of the Counties, instrumental in that movement, involved with the breakdown, protecting the ball firstly, getting himself back into position, then doing the final pass to Frankie Hullai. Yep, he's pretty lethal over 50 metres, Marshy. Not too bad over 2.
Well, 27 minutes into the game, it's up to 20-0. Well, they call them the mountain men from Taranaki. They've got a mountain to climb here already. Counties playing with so much confidence. There's a fine kick from the sideline from Baden Kerr. And the Steelers have got a strong grip on this game. Well, the Ranfurly Shield's been on a real ticky tour this year, but it's going to take one heck of an effort to prize it out of the hands of this Counties Manukau Steelers team today. Really like the work of Mama Vaipulu, the open side flanker, Justin. His ball carrying so effective, and well, that's some nice work from Tamani Valu to keep the ball in play. But look at the defence waiting to meet him. Raymakers, the rest join in. But peeling away with it though is Kurt Baker. Pops it up to Hoyata. Vaipulu flies at him. Well, they're just inspired. Counties inspired.
Heading on. Hey. 6.
They are all over it at the moment.
No. You don't come in. You don't come in. Here we go.
Well, if you're managing to get levels on energy at the moment, it's all with Counties Manukau. You can see just by their body language, they are pumped up. The way they hit this breakdown, he does very well here to Mani Valu to keep the ball in, but then when a contact comes, he doesn't win it. Watch this, check it out, bang. Backwards they go, and then watch the arriving players from there. They just smash the ruck. They peel out of it okay with Kurt Baker, but then the big tackle comes again. Boom, far. Down you go. There's the turnover. Fritz Lee and co over the ball. Penalty. They've got nothing at the moment. Taranaki, not the right attitude. It's all with Counties.
The wind directly behind Baden Kerr here. Nice strike of the ball, extending the lead.
Over it goes. And the scoreboard, and they've got a classic scoreboard here at Pukekohe. 25-0 it reads.
It's old school, that scoreboard, all right. Brings back the memories, TJ.
Well, Brooks, he's having plenty of opportunity to practice his kickoffs so far in this game. Ball returned with interest. There it is. And my old mate Alan Dawson, who was parading the shield around today, man, who played over 200 games for counties, told me that clock on the left, that can go as slow or as fast as required.
Sure it can.
Back in the days before electronic timing, there was some very long second halves out here.
Bit dodgy, all right. Depending on the game, of course, it can go quick if you're going well.
Taranaki have it, and Tamani Valu, who's gone looking for work. Kerr has him round the ankles though. Brooks swings it on, and Andre Taylor trying to penetrate. Brooks again will run, just got a little bit ahead of him, and they've stolen again, and Vaipulu once more is the man. And here's Hika Elliott running with the ball in one hand. What a sight. And once more, the Steelers rampaging. Reece Marshall in there, he's done well under all sorts of pressure. He's managed to effect a penalty steal. And taken quickly by Taranaki.
Well, more than anything, they've actually managed to win a ruck because they haven't been doing it so far in this game. Here's Hika Elliott carrying the ball in one hand, a la Israel Folau, waving it around all over the shop, saying, come and get it, I've got it. Take it off me if you can.
Marshall. The line out again, won by Blade Thompson. And stolen once again, this time by Fritz Lee. Well, they're just feasting at the breakdown, and now clever running from Pulu. The momentum stolen away from them. This time Mama Vaipulu going in the side.
But Tony, when the team's playing with so much energy, so much passion, those types of penalties are going to be given away. And Marcia said before the game, there was a special buzz around the ground, and one team had to use it, and the other team maybe, going to the shell. But boy, players like Hika Elliott are really responding to what the crowd is offering them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They're winning all the contests at the moment, counties, and they have got that buzz, that vibe you're talking about. As the holders, sometimes you can be a bit flat. The challenger comes with all, I guess, the incentive, and you can start slowly. Well, they've started like firecrackers, haven't they? And they've not relented.
Well, they've made a real connection with their community this week at the Ranfurly Shield. It's been to shopping centres, to schools, to clubs. They've really given everyone in the province a good look at. That's Poppy, the goat, who was in an irascible mood earlier on today, but seems to have settled down for the telecast.
Looks relaxed.
Yes, I don't know whether someone's slipped at something, but it's a quieter goat than it was before. Smiley's kick fielded by Frank Halley, and puts the kick in towards the foeing way too much. He booted that into the terrace. Frank Halley.
Oh, it's great seeing the terrace though, isn't it? Just again to reiterate how good this is, this vibe of the Ranfurly Shield. Look at the crowd here. Superb walking into the stadium today, seeing the people come to watch their team proudly defend the Shield.
12,000, as I said before, Justin. I think that goat reflects Tana Umanga's mood. He was a bit nervous sort of 33 minutes ago. At 25-0 up, he's probably not too bad at the moment either.
Well, Thompson again doing some good work at the line out. And wide it goes to Crosswell. Put on the ground by Ray Lilo. It's there for Smiley. Brooks, they really need to get something going before half-time. Baker, is he the man to spark them? Taylor. Not finding many holes though.
It's just too lateral at the moment. Too lateral.
Smiley to Pelesa Uma. And it came from St Pat Silverstream in Wellington.
Can't stand in line.
And the penalty goes against Augustine Pulu. Well, they've turned down 2 kickable penalties. And they're going to turn down another one.
Well, at 15-0, when they had the opportunity to kick to 3, that was the time to take it. At 25-0, you don't have that option anymore. You need to now start scoring in 5s and 7s.
Just looking at the numbers there, Marshy, 5 counties players to 2 from Taranaki. That tells a great story in that picture.
Sorry?
Well, somehow or other they win the line out. And Crosswell, strong leg drive from him. Tackle made by Aki. The wrap around from Smiley. And pops the short ball off nicely to Kurt Baker. Now Brooks moves it on. Barrett. Pelesa Uma. This looks a little more promising for Taranaki.
Middle fight.
But then coming straight through the middle and disrupting was Bundy Aki. And Counties get yet another steal. That's the 7th breakdown turnover in the first half. Kick hasn't found touch though. And racing forward is Baker. Gets past a couple of former New Zealand Sevens teammates. And Fritz Lee, Frank Hullite. Marshall on the 22. Brooks, wide it goes. Andre Taylor. Now Titchens. Pops the pass to Tamani Valu. Some real sting in those tackles. Koyata. There for Smiley. Untidy, but another penalty. Well, this one's right out in front. Surely you take the 3.
I think they need some points. They need something for what they're trying to achieve out there. It'll just get demoralising if they can't get any points.
Well, he's not going to.
Well, I think Kane Barrett's as desperate to hear a line-out drive commentary from Justin Marshall as I am. So they're going again, Marshy.
Well, they're only 5 out, so it won't last for long if they finally get there. So I won't. I'll do my best, Carmo.
Oh, you'll be brilliant. You'll be absolutely brilliant.
I actually do hope that they can get something out of this half, Taranaki, just to spice this game up a bit. You know, they've worked hard. They can't find any way through this Counties defence at the moment. Maybe, like you mentioned, the line-out drive is the key. Last time they couldn't get the throw right. Needs to be straight first.
I'm not sure how many people here today quite agree with that sentiment. I guess there might be it's like a couple of hundred Taranaki fans.
Oh, you're talking about Taranaki getting a try?
Yes.
Yes, you're probably right.
Koyata knocks it down and Marshall scoops it up and has a charge towards the line. It's been a fruitless first 38 minutes of this game for Taranaki. Can they get something on the board before half-time and spark their hopes of a comeback? Strong run from Titchens, but then driven back. I think that was Limalu who made that tackle. Smiley trying to wriggle towards the line. Well, he's ruled the ball unplayable near the line, so Taranaki are going to get a scrum feed 5 metres out.
Good refereeing, I think.
How many guys from either team are on the field, on the ground, so we're going to have a scrum.
Yep, well done.
Cool.
Here's Limalu, the charge up the middle, and Limalu gets underneath and drives Titchens into the ground. Smiley goes quite close, he gets back up and has a slight lunge.
Thanks, you got a hooter in.
So we have a scrum now, Carmo. So if it's not going to be a line-out drive, maybe it's a pushover try that they'll be able to give you some riveting commentary about.
Well, we've got 15 metres on the right blind side. So your options there, you can do your righto, your 8-9, you can bring in your fullback, which is clearly on the right-hand side. The winger also available.
Did you just say your righto?
I did, so my righto.
That's a classic. Sorry, I'll let you get this out, TJ.
Well, had a big defeat against Taranaki. It was their highest losing score, that 46 points that they scored in that high-scoring game by a losing team. Colin Cooper, well, that gum is getting a hammering.
Certainly is. Oh, that's clear. I haven't heard that for years, Camo. That's why I mentioned it. The righto and the lefto.
Well, I can tell
That's
you why
what
they're
we
going to
used
do
to
that,
tell the
because
lots
we can see Kurt Baker lining up there on the right-hand side, Orman on the outside. This could be even that special righto, Marshy, which is the 8, 9, 15 into the 14 winger on the right-hand corner.
Just keep your head down and push, son. Make sure you get us the ball. We'll execute the righto okay then.
Crouch.
Well, Stowers and Pulu
Binds.
protecting that side
Sits.
for the Steelers.
Yes, 9.
And from Smiley off the back, Thompson has a charge at the line. He's over. Well, he wants to have a look at this.
Well, Cathcart's protesting that he's being held.
About some obstruction. Did you see anything? Okay. TMO. Yeah, we'll have a look. You there, Glenn? We just want to check for obstruction by the blindside flanker, creating space for that try, please.
Well, he's doing the job any good blindside flanker would do for his number 8 when in that position, but it's just whether or not the officials believe it's helped Thompson get around Cathcart.
We're going to need a camera angle from the other side if we can get it.
Nah, he's beating them off there just with pace, I reckon.
Glenn Blackwell, the man with the decision to make.
He's already gone.
Long gone.
Yep.
Have we got any other camera angles?
Remember, the expression is clear and obvious.
You think, Glenn, I've got this?
The referee's seen it on the...
Oh, he's ruled it out.
Big screen.
Took the decision upon himself. Well, Taranaki were setting up camp inside their own half.
Flanker has grabbed him and held him. No try, penalty.
Oh, there you go. And Blade Thompson just shaking his head.
He's the luckiest man on the field, I think, Cathcart, because he was beaten anyway.
So
The fact that they reached out and tried to grab his jersey is a moot point, that he was already gone.
Well, I know a few people around here will tell you that that might make up for about one of the 15 injustices that have befallen counties over the years, Justin.
No doubt. And who's to argue with this parochial crowd here as well?
Well, they've featured in some of the great hard luck stories this union. But today, they are reveling in the role of shield holder. Jackson Orman fields a high one. Had to cope with the sun there too. Makes a good run too. Orman, off he goes. Good run from the winger, but again the ball's been lost, and it was Augustine Pulu. Is he claiming someone's done a Mike Tyson on him there? Well, quite fitting. Martin Vaipulu, the flanker, who's had a stunning first half, puts the ball into touch, and at half-time, Counties Manukau head off to a standing ovation. Their first ever defence of the Ranfurly Shield, and they're up 25-0. Well, Ian Jones standing by on the sideline.
Yep, with Kurt Baker here, Tony. Hey, Kurt, you can't run a trick in this match, but from your position at the back, what do you need to do to get back into the match?
We just need to play a bit more territory. You know, their counter-attack ability is pretty strong, but we probably just haven't worked hard enough to get around the corner and get our forwards into the game. So, probably second half, look to play a bit more rugby maybe.
A little pride in the Taranaki jersey, get back into it. Thank you very much.
So half-time at Ecolite Stadium in Pukekohe, and Counties Manukau lead the challengers Taranaki by 25-0.
Here today to sing Mercy by Duffy. Give them a round of applause.
The biggest crowd at Pukekohe for a rugby match in many a long year, basking in the warm Sunday afternoon sunshine and basking in the glow of being the holders of the Ranfurly Shield, freshly engraved. Boy, there's been some quick engraving jobs done on that trophy this year, but at halftime, no race. Counties Manukau 25 and Taranaki right now a big fat 0. 3 tries have been scored, the first by the man who came to Counties Manukau this year. Hika Elliott came from a really good build-up. We thought that Vaipulu could have gone on his own, but this is good work by the concrete mixers to get it over the line, Justin.
It certainly was. They stayed nice and patient in this build-up, and Hika Elliott just too strong from there, supported ably by all of his mates, getting in behind him and shunting him over the line. It was a great start for Counties, but there was more to come, TJ. They just kept on the assault for the entire first half.
Elliott celebrates. Jimmy Tupou heavily involved, firstly winning some good line-out ball to set them on the path, then Ray Lilo making good inroads, and Jimmy Tupou finishing it.
Certainly did, and it was good work from Pulu and then Lilo, but Vaipulu, the pass there with 2 players on him to free it up, and Jimmy Tupou went over for their second try.
And then towards the latter stages, big run by Hika Elliott. And Vaipulu, he's been involved in everything, this guy. He's a very powerful ball carrier. And Frank Hullai, well, Justin said difficult to stop. You'd have to think almost impossible.
Certainly from that close. They had one opportunity, Taranaki, to get back into the game. Thompson went off the back of the scrum, and Cathcart pleaded that he was being held back by the Taranaki blind side. And The referee agrees, so they got nothing out of that half. The Taranaki, as Tony mentioned, stuck on 0. Tana Umang will be buoyant about the way that his troops are going. They're being absolutely sensational all over the park, but most importantly at the breakdowns, and the stats really highlight that. You can see the breakdown turnovers 7-2 in favour of Counties Manukau, which just complements what they're doing at the breakdown. But also look at the turnovers that Taranaki have conceded, 15 of them to only 5. It means that whatever ball they're getting, they aren't doing enough with, and ultimately Counties are taking it back off them. So lots to talk about in this changing room, not so much for Counties. Colin Cooper needs to inspire his troops in the second half, Tony.
Well, it looks like a pretty subdued Taranaki changing room, doesn't it, as we look across to the corporate suites surrounding Eco Light Stadium and back onto the terrace where they're in great spirits. 25-0 at half-time. Steelers in charge at Pukekohe at half-time. Let's hear from their coach, Tana Umanga, with Ian.
Well, Tana, fantastic first half of rugby, but I sense the job's not done yet.
No, that's something we talked about at half-time. Just it's only half a job done. We want to get out there and hopefully finish the job. So the boys have put a bit of pressure on themselves to do that. But we know Taranaki is a well-coached side, so they'll be coming back with a lot of vim and vigour to get what they want.
Well, thanks very much for your time. We're going to sit back and enjoy. I know you won't.
Exactly. Cheers.
Well, James Broadhurst has been sent out to try and add some horsepower to the Taranaki effort. So the Hurricanes lock is on for the challengers. Counties facing the sun in the second half, and Broadhurst straight into the action. And once again, they've stolen it. That was just a little slack there from Taranaki. Now a knock on.
Yellow first, sorry. Double knock on.
Just think, was that the halfback again? Was that Pulu getting in the middle of all that?
No, Pulu was back. That's what the problem was. After they got the turnover, Pulu's waiting back for the kick. He's expecting Taranaki. That's the winger Pulu. Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Tony Pulu, yeah.
That's right. He's expecting the kick from Taranaki, so that's why he arrived late. He was way back deep, and because of that, the ball got compromised and turned over. But Pulu was just allowed to strut around there and steal the ball.
Yeah, I'm going to fess up. I did think the other one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I thought it might have been Tony, but it was August, but it was Tony Pulu.
Did you see shades in his head too? 15. That's because it's his 15th game for Counties. It's his Blazer game. Receiving that after the match. He's allowed to do that because there's no more formed. So he's allowed to get in there and steal it.
Yeah, just lack of awareness from the Taranaki players, really. But Lee, off the bat, rolls it along the ground for August Pulu, and Tony Pulu comes in from the wing, playing with real confidence. Lee, who has led from the front for the Steelers team. Away it goes to Aki, stepping. Tony Pulu. Now August.
Eats it through the back, play on.
Broadhurst all over the top of him, but Vaipulu comes away with it. Big chance from the flanker. Taken just a few metres short. He's been dynamite this afternoon. Lee. Hicka Elliott has another go, looking for a second. Well, Steelers looking to start strongly, just as they did in the first half. Pulu away to Kerr. They look to get it wide. Floated across to the far side, and Frank Halloway.
TMO. Is the pass okay?
You can see that clump of dirt there. But I think that's from the corner flag. But he went very close to that clump of dirt. You can just see it behind the referee.
Have a look at it while you're at it. I think we're fine with that. But the main thing is what happens in the corner. Try or no try, please.
They're just looking for a foot and touch. Possibly a forward pass, Tony.
I think that was the gist of that message. Check the grounding and
pretty much check everything.
Anything else that might spring to mind?
Well, sometimes doesn't have any significance if you watched last night, does it?
Well, that's the pass. That's the pass he was talking about. I don't think there's a problem with that.
Does look to have come out slightly forward of the hands, but
oh, that's true.
He was quite deep, Halloway, anyway. Just gets it down. Not the traditional way to score, but he gets it done.
Coming off a 10-try season with the Blues, looks like Frank Halloway has got his second today for the Steelers.
You hear me, Glenn? You there? Thank you, mate.
Try it is. Perfect start to the second half for the Counties Manukau Steelers. 30 points to 0.
Well, he's a finisher, isn't he, Marshy? And that's the key to it. Having his strike powers out wide on the right side here. The ability to finish any movement. Strength, balance. Real strong desire to get over for a second.
7 goals.
Well, we mentioned how hard he is to stop. I mean, he's 110 kgs, 1.95. That is a big man to have on the wing. And they've had a few big wingers down here.
They certainly have, yeah. You mentioned Joel Evanderi before. John Olomu, obviously.
Well, you go back to the 1970s, before you were even a twinkle in anyone's eye, Justin, they had a bloke called Pat Yates, who was a big, strong winger as well down here. Great kick from the sideline.
And Tony, just quickly, Nemia Songita, jersey 19, he's going on. Doug Titchens, who's played open sides, coming off. We see once more the Halloway try. It's in the bonus point for Counties, which is also very important.
Well,
Jensen Gibson Park also on there, Tony, sorry.
These two teams in the bottom 3 of the Premiership division, so whoever wins this for the moment will move up the table. And already Counties eyeing a 5-pointer and the Ranfurly Shield. That's not a bad afternoon's work, but still a long way to go in this game. Pulu, that's August Pulu, put out over the sideline. Tony Pulu, the winger, he is a...
Well, look at that 15, Tony. As Camo mentioned, cut into his hair. It's Blazer game. It's a great moment to win your Blazer.
Lucky he didn't get injured pre-game, eh? Kept it for another week.
Crosswell popping the ball back in field. Lilo ripping the ball away. And well, he's ruled that hasn't gone forward. And so Augustine Pullo is free to boot it off downfield, where Kurt Baker, and we know he's such a good attacking player, he spent a lot of this game running back towards his own goal line.
Certainly has, and that's been the good work of Pulu. But again, another breakdown turnover against Taranaki. Counties is just winning that epic battle, no problem whatsoever. They're just taking the ball whenever they feel like getting it back.
Well, Justin, a lot of it's just one-on-one stuff, ripping the ball away, isn't it?
Yep.
Now, Augustine Pulu, every time you see him, you look at him and you think this is a quality young player. Chiefs have recognised that over the last 2 years. Now, Vaipulu, and beautiful offload away to Bundy Arki. Cut down by Pelesa Uma and didn't release. He does not agree.
No, I can't.
Have a look. Not for that, son.
I wonder if he takes a little glance, Nick Bryant, at the big screen that's just in behind him there, behind the Taranaki try line at the moment.
Really hard too, and you got eyes looking up, puppy dog eyes. Key actually not to have a little referral, eh? He's pleading.
He's brought to the ground. Oh, you're right. He released it.
Oh, he did as well.
He released it. It was in a flash.
Look how innocent that is. Please, please.
Well, he had a case. Nicely taken by Halai, although driven towards the touchline. Elliott fires it away to Lee. Now Pulu playing with so much confidence. Lilo ranging out on the wing, and this time he does run out of room.
12, leave him, 12. Get ready, boys, get ready! Play on, no line out.
Taranaki take it quickly, and Daniel Brooks runs, taken by his opposite number, Kerr. Now Gibson Park running across field and eventually freeing it up for Fraser Climo, and then, oh boy, Thompson, I think he was already in touch when he caught that, wasn't he?
You don't want to do that in front of the bank either. They're giving him plenty.
He was.
Number 12.
Bodine Waka on for Taranaki.
Walk and wait and then jump. You can't just come in the same motion. You understand what I'm saying?
I think, is it Pelesa Uma coming off injured?
Yeah, left ankle injury by the looks of it, Tony. You say, Marshall, some of the hits that the county's Manukau forwards are putting in, being off the field is actually the safest place to be.
Yeah, true.
That one's been overthrown. It's been one little issue today. Had a couple of those, have the Steelers. Broadhurst dragging it forward. Gibson Park fires it away, and Carl Carmichael. Now Marshall.
Hey, 12.
Gibson Park. Songeta, the Nemia Songeta. They've certainly made some changes in the Taranaki side, trying to spark something. Tamani Valu now running in midfield. Broadhurst shrugs off the first couple. Elliott sticks with him. There for Gibson Park. Waka now moves it on to Marshall, pops it up. Songeta bounces out of the first one, fighting his way towards the line. There for Gibson Park. Carmichael, can he stretch out? No.
How did he not?
Oh, yes, he has. Well, he had a couple of goes, but eventually he got there. And finally, Taranaki have got one on the board.
It was like watching it in slow motion, wasn't it? Because there was a huge hole there, and you just were waiting for him to basically fall over the line and plant the ball. And it took an eternity, and it actually looked like he hadn't got there. It was better attack. Broadhurst was the one who had actually got them going forward. This is excellent. Inside ball here from Reece Marshall. They go really close. From here, you can see Carmichael out there. He's got all that space. He doesn't quite get it at the time that he wanted to, but when he does, he reaches it. Wow, I don't know about that. What do you think, Carmo? I think he's short, and then he has another go. Oh.
He had some good strength in the wrists and fingers to actually hold the ball and get it up and over.
You can't do that, though.
No, he's planted it and then he's rolled it forward. The crowd have seen that and they're not too thrilled about it.
And rightly so.
But what about that disallowed try just for half time? You think, okay, maybe let's square the ledger.
Possibly.
So, Carmichael with the try. Conversion from Waka is over, and at last they've got something to cheer about.
And Matt Taliasi from the Manurewa club is going on now, Tony, into loose head prop position. Lamalu is coming off, his job is done. And Jimmy Tupou, who's been outstanding. Patamahoe, that Jimmy plays for, he is off. So Tana Umanga starting to use his bench. So Kiri Nabo, the hero from last week down in Napier, jersey 18 is on.
I've made my decision.
So Gibson Park floats the kick down to Stowers. 32-7 the score. Stowers puts it high.
Go down to 10. 7, keep going.
Not a lot of great depth on it. So Taranaki start to bring it forward again. Fraser Climo down the left-hand side. 10-metre mark. Steelers territory. Can't free it.
It's 50-50. I couldn't see.
Well, I think the players that have been injected into this game by Colin Cooper certainly are helping. Broadhurst and Songita up front are just starting to go forward with a bit of purpose, which will help Taranaki because they'd been too lateral before that. So maybe that forward motion, getting over the advantage line, will just help them.
Carmichael, try scorer today, approaching his 50th for the Naki. Scorer try and get dragged. Hey, it's a tough old world when you're a prop.
Binds! No, stand up, Bruce. You guys no chance, eh? Head on head. Got to be closer.
So 11 minutes gone in the second half.
Let's have you up.
Guy like Broadhurst, and
Can't be head on head if you're ear on ear.
criticising or questioning the selection, but it is an interesting call, is it? You know, one of your experienced players, one of your big men, opting not to start him.
Binds!
I guess there's a lot of talk about managing players through the season and where you can get the best use out of them.
Yeah.
Well, you think, I guess, it's a good point you make, but you think about Tana Umanga's approach. Before the Shield Challenge, he entered into that Auckland clash with all of his top guns, didn't he? He didn't rest anybody. He was just focusing one game at a time, and I think if your players are fit, you've got to get them out there.
Yes, there were just a couple of guys had little injury concerns, Hicka Elliott, Bade and Kerr, but they did.
They fronted with Fritz Lee and Lelo and Bundy Aki, all those guys, didn't they?
All these other names that are out there playing today.
Pushing off the mark.
Well, free kick taken quickly by Blade Thompson. Trying to hold him up here, the Steelers, and then counter-ruck. And they've done it. But they've just been more urgent, haven't they?
Certainly have.
Number 2 goal.
So Reece Marshall, his day is done.
Yep.
I tell you who'll be loving this scoreline. The blokes who had the Shield at the start of the season. Counties win this, Waikato next in line. You had to think about who had the Shield at the start of the season, didn't you?
I looked at you and thought, now, who has had it? Everybody?
I've got tougher questions than that to ask you.
Wow.
Justin. Yeah, Waikato. Next Saturday, due in Pukekohe. These counties, you see, 1958 when they made their first Shield Challenge, and it was against Taranaki.
Crouch.
This year, as mentioned before, Taranaki, they've held it 5 times. This is the 100th anniversary of their first ever successful Shield tenure back in 1930. They took it off Auckland at Alexandra Park, where they have the trots. And this was the scene before the game. One of the great stalwarts of counties rugby, Alan Dawson, who played over 200 games, including some of those real hard luck stories that counties had to go through. And finally, he gets to hold the shield aloft. Great day for him and his union. The heat coming on at scrum time, but Fritz Lee powers away with it. There for Pulu, nice ball for him. Raymakers and Pulu again, whose kicking game has been excellent. And back goes Kurt Baker. He can't put this out on the full. Referee ruled that he knocked that back into the 22.
It was touched by a player from the kick from Pulu.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Not him.
No. Yeah, it was partially charged off the kick from Pulu. So because of that, it's had a Taranaki hand, which means that a Taranaki hand was the last to touch it before it went back into 22. And you could see the ref just tapping his hand on the way down there, trying to let Baker know he didn't pick it up, to his peril. Speaking of stalwarts, I bumped into a stalwart of counties rugby, and I'll go into that just in a minute. We look at our games coming up first. Hawke's Bay versus Northland follows this game here, Tony.
And then ITM Cup Week, featuring various luminaries, including Justin Marshall and myself. Our look back at the week, but yes.
Yes, on my trudge up the big grandstand here, I bumped into Jim Coe, and he was and is an extremely passionate counties man, bled for the jersey. And he was here sitting proudly in his chair. I had a chat to him. He used to introduce himself all the time as Jim Coe's Counties. So it didn't matter if you knew who he was, he'd go Jim Coe Counties. That was his little paraphrase that he always tapped on to the end of his name. That's how much counties rugby meant to him.
And very heavily involved in surf lifesaving as well. So community focused man, good family man too. Jim Coe Counties, Errol Brain, certainly watching this. A lot of people from this wonderful union, of course, very proud of what they've been doing. At 32-7, desperate to hold it for another week or so.
Well, you've mentioned 2 number 8s there, Errol Brain. We mentioned Alan Dawson before, Fritz Lee doing a good job, but you think of the great names that have played for this union over the year. Bruce Robertson, the wonderful centre, Andy Dalton, Hank Harbracken, Alan Dawson, Jonah Lomu, Joel Evanderi, the Marsh brothers. As counties men never got to touch the Ranfurly Shield.
The Marsh brothers, yeah, absolutely. Some great names in New Zealand rugby played for counties, and it's just fitting, I think, that they do finally get to taste the shield here.
Go back a bit longer, Bob Lendrum, John Spears. They were such an innovative union. They played a great brand of rugby, particularly in the days of Barry Bracewell. Really brought something new to New Zealand rugby, and they still play with that flair of the olden times. And here's Vaipulu charging again towards the line. Ball hacked away and picked up by Frank Hullai. You don't want to kick it to him. Not this close to the line. Now a charge from the replacement prop.
Thanks, mate. Cool pass. I couldn't tell, mate.
Matt Talaiesi caught and then losing it just short of the line. And it looks like that chain's going to be broken too, Justin. Starting to look through the history books to find out when was the last time the shield changed hands 4 times in a season. It could still happen, of course.
Who's next cab off the rank? And excuse my ignorance, there's just a volume of rugby at the moment, isn't there?
Pay attention, Justin. Waikato, remember?
Oh, it is 2.
2 minutes ago.
And anybody else?
I'll have to have a look. I've got a season schedule here. No one's had to look more than 1 week ahead so far this season. Oh, the Goats bored with the Shield already, turned it back on it.
Tony, can I quickly help you out there? Yep, Waikato, that's Saturday the 21st of September. Then if they hold it, it'll be Southland, Friday night, 11th of October.
The Sweet Eaters come to town to potato country. What a clash that'll be. Recipe for a good stew, that is.
Battle of the root vegetables.
Crouch!
So Jamison Gibson Park at some point will get the ball into the scrum.
So I guess as you're the next in line contenders, you become a supporter of the holder, don't you? You sit there hoping that they retain, so you get your opportunity. So Southland will be barracking for Counties Manukau right through until their encounter, I guess. Waikato will be pretty chuffed sitting where they are in Hamilton after their great victory yesterday. Thinking, well, we've got a Shield challenge up next. Maybe our season really is about to turn around. But they've got a task in front of them from what we've seen today, Tony.
Oh, for sure, that's set down for next Saturday, but we've still got a quarter of this match to be played. Taranaki, where they have been for long periods of this match, deep inside their own half.
You can go to the side, not towards them.
That was Baden Kerr there, lying on the other side of the ruck. He's used as a bit of a doormat, not in the traditional Taranaki sense, but he might be able to tell a story after the match. You see Baden Kerr standing there. Yeah, happy days.
Broadhurst, who's done really good work since he's come on. Towering kick from Gibson Park, comfortably taken by Halai.
10 metres, 10 metres, come on.
Marshy, this kick will be interesting if he's gone to the Tana Umanga school of...
He's pulled out a spiral.
Not bad.
Oh, he can kick all right, Frank Halai. You don't see it all that often.
You didn't used to see it with Tana either. There he is.
No, maybe Tana contracts that part of his coaching out, Marshy.
I would think so. Mind you, would have learnt to kick in the UK, where he played over there. They do a bit of that.
That's a not straight.
Played for Toulon, obviously, Tana Umanga. That's where he started his coaching with them. He was an assistant coach, and he's moved on now to Counties Manukau job, which he's had, what, for 2 years? This is his third season now?
Yeah, it came in 2010. At that stage, he was on the coaching staff and a player.
Let's go, boys, come on. Let's keep moving.
And took over, stepped up into the head coach's role.
Wellington man, of course, as well, Tana, isn't he? So
just wonder how long before he develops a nervous twitch or starts to go grey, starts to lose his hair.
Binds.
Now he's had a pretty arduous week, so I'd imagine that was starting to turn him a bit grey, Tony.
Far side.
Nothing worse than having to front up in front of the judicial process, but he handled it well, and he did apologise, and he said that he was in the wrong, and they've made the right decision and got to the bottom of it, and you learn your lessons as you and move on. We've all been there.
Well, it's been an entertaining match. I think just one little sticking point has been these scrums. We've had a lot of resets in this game, but that one's in cleanly, and out it comes for Pulu. Away to Kerr, to Aki. Halai across from the far wing and sends a delicate pass into touch. Taken quickly.
No, we've got one out. We've got gold and red players.
Well, as he said, it was a line out sort of formed, and so the mistake from that attempted quick throw isn't going to count.
Just lost a bit of their rhythm, Counties, Carmo, haven't they?
Yeah, they've changed their mode of thinking, I think, Justin. The first 40 minutes about territory, about attack. They've just gone a bit defensive.
Well, Taranaki, and they bring Tamani Valu in from the wing. So Taranaki, well, they've upped their effort since half-time. They have conceded a try. First half, absolutely nothing going for them. But they're coming from a long way back. Tamani Valu is walking through the tackle of Jared Firth. And now ducking and weaving is Bodine Waka, the young man from Gisborne Boys High School. Ball was out. Lee helps himself, and the Steelers storm away with it. Yet another turnover at the breakdown. Lee once more hasn't controlled that, been whipped back on the Taranaki side. Might have been a sneaky hand in there, and the call from the sideline.
Thank you.
Well, they just can't get anything going, can they? At the moment, Taranaki, and the work again continues at the breakdown from counties. They're certainly winning that battle. Well, I can answer your question, Carmo. And it's come from the man who knows everything, Kenny Laban. He's told me that the former Manu Samoan star and current New Zealand schools coach, Earl Va'a, has been the kicking coach and advisor for counties. So he isn't doing the kicking coaching, Tana Umanga. There you go.
Well, a good mate of Tana's as well, from Wainui Amata.
Carmo, is that the closest you've ever been to the Ranfurly Shield?
Ha ha!
You know what, Tony? I've challenged it on more than a dozen occasions. I've never touched the damn thing, and I'm too scared to do it now, even though I'm a long time retired.
In case something falls off it.
Don't do it. You'll curse it for North Harbour.
It's all right. There's a worse North Harbour story than that. Richard Turner's challenged, what, 4 times in 1 year and lost them all. Taranaki, well, they keep trying things. Baker, still short of halfway here. Gibson Park emerges with it. Big flying tackle there by Fritz Lee. Like he might have been offside. Referee's playing advantage. Now Brooks running, popping it.
Backwards. Oh, backwards.
But Tutavaha couldn't take it cleanly. In fact, that was Leah. Tutavaha, as you were in 16. Now Gibson Park goes off for a little scamper. Fires the pass back in field. Not held, and away comes Frank Hulley. Elliott, well, he was waiting to gobble that one up. I think he's lost it forward. No, the referee says play on. Now Hicker Elliott has it, and he's in a bit of space too. Again, only one hand needed, but he didn't have any support. Now Ryan Cocker having a bit of a charge. Gibson Park straight through the hands of Waka. And the penalty at the breakdown, yep.
You're just waiting for it, weren't you?
Tony, mass changes coming up, 4 of them in fact. I won't go through them all because the game will be finished by the time I get all your names out. Kane Hansey, the reserve halfback, the only one not used so far. Jersey 21 Tana Umanga. So here they all come, all part of the action.
You're going to need to do
So
something about that.
Tuala in 21, Reedy in 19, Tafalele in 16, and Vaka in 22. Bundyaki, you can see they're leaving. The skipper goes off as well, and so too does Baden Kerr. And they're getting a great ovation from the crowd.
Chris Smiley back on the park too, Tony. We have a blood bin. Dan Brooks just come off to get a bit of attention over the right eye.
Well, Fritz Lee comes off to great applause. He's doing a good job leading this side. Here's Cathcart. Taranaki just looking to get a bit of shape back into their game here, but they're penalised.
Oh, number 18 in the side.
And the penalty went against Sekeli Numbo, the man in 18. He was one of the heroes last week. Scored the last try, the one that sealed the victory over Hawke's Bay. And Fritz Lee gets a well-earned rest.
Hey, Adam, do you know who your captain is here? You know? No.
So
we've got a meter. We're playing.
Timo Tutavaha with the throw. And Taranaki have it. Crosswell towards halfway. Tamani Valu throwing a risky pass, but hanging on to it was Kurt Baker. Gibson Park swarming all over him as Sam Vaka. Now the little chip kick ahead, and Smiley going back and cleaning up. Taken on by Ryan Cocker from the Clifton Club. Now Blake Thompson showing good determination. Squirts out the side. Referee says we'll have a scrum.
None of the stuff, eh? Just stay up. Scrum.
Yes, I do think the pace of the game probably just starting to take its toll. It's become a little bit shapeless in the second half, hasn't it, Justin?
Yeah, it certainly has.
Last of the reserves coming on too. Marshy Kane Hansey from the Petamahoe Club goes on then. Boy, August Pulu's been fantastic with his kicking game. Real feature, certainly of that first half. Dan Brooks too. The cut tidied up over the right eye. Got some tape and he's back out there. So all 22 players on both sides. 44 in all been used today, TJ.
Well, Kane Hansey comes on and he'll be loving this. The 30-year-old, he's been a good, solid servant of Counties Manukau Rugby over a good period of years now. And at the age of 30, he finds out what it's like to be a Ranfurly Shield holder. Good player. He's played for their sevens team in the warmth of the summer as well. But Pulu, Justin,
great game.
Yep,
excellent. Decision making perfect. Got them on the front foot in the first half by getting the ball in behind. Some of his kicks were very influential off the back of them. They got tries, and he just continues to grow as a player. Excellent, excellent halfback.
Tight head on the arm.
Penalty to Taranaki, and Crosswell has made a lot of charges at the counties line. Broadhurst, who's really added something since coming on in the second half. Gibson Park, Tutavaha. Gibson Park trying to wheel his way from the oncoming players. And someone in there's got hands on it for the Steelers. It was Kane Hansey, and it's a penalty.
Well, that's 12-3 breakdown turnovers to the advantage of Counties. Just way too many. As a coach, Colin Cooper, who prides himself on that area, as Taranaki teams of the past do. They don't like to be getting beaten in that area, and they've been comprehensively beaten up there today, haven't they?
Number 6 is going.
Chris Lee's running back out there too. Sorry, Tony. Thought his day was done. Adam Cathcart is coming off, so maybe Fritz Lee's out there to finish this match in style. He is the skipper of this team after all.
Taken down by Nambo. So Counties bring Sherwin Stowers into the line from fullback. Ormond manages to hang on to him. And Hansey swings it away to Lee, straight back into the action.
16, get away.
Calling for it. Hansey snapped up by Stowers. The real star of the performance that saw them bring the shield here, Sherwin Stowers. Vaipulu, who's been one of their best today, sets it. Tuala moves it on. And Reedy, he was a try scorer last week too. Stabbed through by Tuala. And once again, as he's had to do about 50 times today, Kurt Baker races back into his 22. This time watches the ball go over the sideline. They've taken a quick throw, and the referee says we'll have a scrum. It's knocked on.
Just in the Counties team, and certainly on their analysis before the game, certainly seen something about the holes in behind the back three, haven't they, Taranaki? A lot of grubbers through the ground, have made a lot of good yardage.
Yeah, and not from kicking from deep, is it, Carmo? They're actually going to the gain line, which brings the defenders up, which stops the winger from dropping. And the kicks have always all been accurate as well. It's not just hacking the ball away. You're right, they've picked something up there, but their execution has been good as well, because you can look at something like that, go into a game to look to kick and just kick all your ball away aimlessly. They've done it to perfection today.
All the Counties backs line out to the left.
We're going to get this high.
No righto this time, Marshy.
Lefto, is it, Carmo? Just for all you people out there, that's what we used to tell the forwards before they went into a scrum and did the real hard work that they perceived they were doing. We just had to make it nice and simple. So righto or lefto, obviously right and left, and it usually sunk in most of the time, Carmo, didn't it? Which way we were heading, the backs.
What did you call when you went straight up the middle, Marshy?
Yeah.
Binds. Sits. Pushing early.
Free kick to the Steelers. Hansey takes it quickly. Reedy charges at the line. Picked up by Nambo. Sekeli Nambo just short. They'll try and power it over. They are over, but they can't get it down.
Well, what they've done, it was Fritz Lee that tried to charge his way over, as they've opened up a great opportunity here on the right-hand side for the righto again by making their way infield. It's good defence in the finish from Taranaki. They had to scramble from the quick tap from the scrum.
Too much weight on, boys. Too much weight.
Just got his body underneath. Did Crosswell and stop Fritz Lee from getting it down, but they're not out of the woods yet.
Well, the options here, Justin, solid scrum to start with. Frank Hallow's by himself with 25 metres of space on the right side where they want it. The rest of the backs are lined out left, deep and wide. Scrum, clearly the most important thing. Fritz Lee, though, want to get his hands on the ball, and they will want to go himself.
And you can see Fraser Climo on the far side. And Frank Halloy just wander again for a bit of a word.
Mate, if I let you go wide, you go down, so we're going close.
Now stations himself right behind the forward pack.
Well, you can see that Taranaki have put two defenders across to the right, just marking Halloy, so it gives the advantage numerically on the left-hand side as we look at it to Counties. It's just you want to go right from this situation. Taranaki have recognised that, so they put the extra defender there.
Binds. Sits. Yes, 9.
And it goes. Oh, Lee fancies a charge at the line here. They're going to go for a pushover. Well, couldn't quite pick it up cleanly, but it's a penalty. Taken quickly, Lee. This time he's almost there. They have another go. Hansey digs it out.
Went backwards, play.
Has another go. Wriggles over.
Come off.
Well, he's going to check, but Kane Hansey here reckons he's scored.
You have no view of that? Okay, you there, Glenn? TMO? Can you give me any reason I can't award a try here, please?
Well, it is the second question.
Yeah, and I think he is asking that because he's wandered in after the fact here and seen the ball on the ground probably.
He'd been knocked away from him initially there by Songeta. There was no knock on, and
you'd have to think he's got that down.
That's a try, yeah.
Particularly with the question that he's asked, I think absolutely he's got that down. Probably the point of the ground, point of the ball's hit the ground, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
Kane Hansey's try confirmed. Score out to 37-7.
Well, we can talk about a wonderful try it is, Justin, and a little halfback, no doubt. You'll want your turn there, but great scrum too, wasn't it, from Counties? That set it up really strong and a good part of their game. We know how good Taranaki traditionally have been in that type 5 battle, which they pride themselves in the scrum in particular. Oh boy, that's a real nice tack in Counties.
Well, Asi Tuala can't convert. You'll see in the background there some of the Taranaki fans starting to drift away. In fact, there's certainly a lot less amber and black now on the terraces. Here it is, huge dummy. And the 30-year-old gets the try. There's a long drive back to New Plymouth. Some of them have started early. And here's Ray Lilo. Pops a nice ball away. It's Reedy. It's Lee. Lilo. That is a brilliant try. Right out of the Counties manual.
What a try, Counties. The game needed it. They've been dominant to the point that it's probably let the game sort of fizzle. Well, it's not fizzling anymore. Ray Lilo, he's the man who started it. You can see how much it means to him, but a scintillating burst from outside of the 22 has brought the crowd to their feet, and why not? Here it goes off the kickoff. Nice and deep. It's Lilo that takes it. Watch him bust the line here. Hits the accelerator. From there pops the ball on the outside, then back to Fritz Lee. He goes back to Lilo. He cuts back in, shows the speed. A couple of players try to hold on to him, but they're not going to stop Counties today.
Start and finish for Razor Ray. Nice little message supporting conversions made, Tony.
Absolute jubilation here. That's the sort of rugby that made Counties great back in the 70s.
Well, the job's not done when you've offloaded the football. Backing up, support. He did all of that.
Yes, it's a style that's always been, not just in the 70s, of course, we've seen it. They've had their down times too. Got beaten by 100 points in a Shield game by Auckland back in 2004. I think they can wipe that one. Here's Lilo again. Stowers just pulled down from behind. It was a really good effort from Tamani Valu because he looked like he was away. It's a penalty.
I actually, Justin, think it was a forward pass. Stowers is in front, had to back off slightly. Referee not in great line.
Well, they are finishing in style here now. There's Lilo. They're just loving it.
Tamani Valu did very well, actually, to pull down Stowers because he can move. He can rock it, forward pass or not. He scragged him down and got him in the finish, but they're not out of the woods again. Taranaki, the pump, well and truly been applied.
Well, they win the line out. Well, Stowers away to the right, waiting to come into the line. 3.5 minutes, and you can tell they want 50.
I just wonder whether or not Lilo was still a bit puffed from his run just before, because he did give it very early. He was signaling to, giving the signals to Stowers there nice and early that he couldn't be bothered running another 60-odd metres.
Well, there's been plenty of heroes for Counties this afternoon, Justin, but the midfield, Lilo and Bundy Arke have been pretty special. The turnovers, tackling high, aiming for the ball, the breaks they've made, really magical to watch.
Well, Lilo now operating second 5, started off at centre.
Same tunnel, out the tunnel, reset.
Yes, there's been some standout performers, certainly right throughout this Counties Manukau side. I have to say that Vaipulu, the open side flanker, I think he's been one of the stars of the game.
Agree.
There's another one, Ray Lilo, getting stronger as the game's gone on. Hika Elliott has had a storming game. He's off now. Fritz Lee, the captain. It's been a tough old afternoon for Taranaki.
Crouch!
I'm sure they wanted to finish it in style as well. Counties Manukau for the huge crowd.
Sit!
Oh, these scrums. Honestly.
Number 17.
We've got to get them right, don't we, gentlemen?
Just caught a glimpse down there before of Hank Harbracken, who's the president of the county's rugby union, and he scored one of the great Shield tries at Eden Park in front of 50,000 people in a game in 1979, an end-to-end job, one of those county specials.
Cutting out, I can't hear.
Taranaki, well, they've tried, but boy, apart from that one try, just absolutely nothing has gone right for them this afternoon. They've been cleaned up at the breakdown. They've been hit hard when they've carried the ball forward. Tamani Valu, one player who's tried to inject himself as much as possible. Another loose ball. Baker, in the end, opts to kick, but running back, taking it on his fingertips, Frank Halai, and then spins his way past Kurt Baker. Smashes up the next one. That was Brooks, and here's Brooks now, who's scooped it up, and he's tearing away, trying to score a try. Well, a moment or so ago, he was on the ground. That pass looked a bit forward. And the helter-skelter continues with another turnover. Jared Firth, the prop, cleans that one up. Taufalele. And Hansey goes to the short side where Firth, having a late burst of involvement through ball carrying, but the ball went forward.
They've about had enough, counties, I think. They're looking a bit puffed now. There's a few hands on hips and deep breaths. I've worked hard, and no more so, evidently, as you see the stats, than at the breakdown. They've just been fantastic in that area, and that does sap your energy when you work that hard. Every player, every man, as you mentioned earlier in the game, Carmo, not just the forwards, the backs getting in there, getting the turnovers, nice and physical, and they are sucking in the big ones at the moment, but they'll deserve and cherish a nice cold beer for the first defence for Counties Manukau. That man there will be proud of the week that he's had with coaching these guys and what they've achieved today.
He's just having a chat there with Nick Ledger. He's a member of a fine sporting family, Nick Ledger. He's the analyst.
It's a great little amphitheatre here, this ground, isn't it? Superb. Good tradition. You feel real traditional when you walk into the stadium.
Well, you've got the bush away to the right. You've got that lovely natural embankment on the far side.
The boys up there in the house on the deck, they've got the best seat in the house.
And the kids all waiting to run onto the field and get some autographs. Yeah, the real estate prices might have just gone up a little bit in the last week.
Yes.
Crouch!
Don't think you've got any complaints from those neighbours.
Absolutely not.
Come on, you sit up and you come up. There's the mark.
Wow, Counties loving life as the holders of the Ranfurly Shield. It's been a glorious week, and they're going to get another one.
Crouch!
Siren goes.
Binds!
Their first ever defence of the Ranfurly Shield. First ever defence. I think Nick Bryant's enjoying it too. He doesn't want to end the game. The siren's gone, but he's going to call another scrum.
Okay. I'm coming over. Come on, boys, let's go. Come on, boys.
Oh, what a game it's going to be. The next one.
Well, there'll be a great crowd for that because, of course, it's
just down the road.
Just down the road. Neighbouring unions, counties Manukau and Waikato, and they're due to meet next Saturday.
Sit! It's 9.
Off the back comes Thompson. Gibson Park swings it away. Waka running to the 22. But once again, it's a fitting way for the game to end. A steal at the breakdown. A little knock on in there, I think, from Reedy.
Well, it goes.
No, the referee's let it go. Well, this time Taranaki have got one back, so the game didn't quite end on a Taranaki, or sorry, a county steal. Pulu it is. He's caught. Tried to head off to the touchline. Now they'll put it into touch.
Use it!
And it's all over. What a great first up defence of the Ranfurly Shield for Counties Manukau. They have thumped Taranaki 44-7.